All right. Well, welcome to the DIQ Zone. I'm so excited. There's only, a week and 2 more days till the end of the month. And so, which is a really exciting place to be. And so I'm really proud of all of you working towards achieving these goals. So many of you are so unbelievably close, like so unbelievably close. And all 3 of you that are on the call right now are actually all in month 3. So that's really exciting. So, so the cool thing is when it comes to a big goal like this and a big obstacle, amazing things can happen. And so right now, you may feel like you're kind of under the gun, you're feeling a little bit of anxiety, stress, a little bit of fear maybe about what's going on. And we're here to tell you it's totally normal, all right? So there are 3 directors on this call, and all 3 of us have been through exactly what you're going through. And the newsflash is when you become a director, there still will be these clutch moments in your business that you're kind of up against a big goal, or maybe you set something for yourself, whether it's a Tupperware goal and you want to earn something, or if it's a goal that you set for yourself. Like, I really, by the end of the year, come heck or high water, I want to be this, right? And so you have an amazing opportunity to rise to the occasion here. So I want to give an example of that very thing, all right? So I'm going to put you on the spot there, Rory Morris, because there was a moment, a very important moment in her business. She's had several very important moments in her business, but one of them was when she was in DIQ. And she was in DIQ and she fell out of DIQ, right? I can't remember if it was month 1 or 2, but she fell out, right? And she came to rally and she's sitting there and everybody's getting the recognition across the stage. And I kept kind of glancing over at her and she's just like angry. Okay, she's like angry. And so rally's over and she comes out and she comes right up to me and gets in my face and is just like, this is BS. She's like, I deserve to be up there. None of those people are any better than me. I should have been up there. I'm so, she was like so mad, but she had this look in her eyes of like sheer determination. And so I was talking actually to her about this today, this moment, and she goes, did you think I was going to walk away like from the business? I said, no. I was like, the look in your eye, I was like, okay, show me what you're made of. Like, because she was angry and frustrated and she was just like, I'm doing this. And then she went right back into DIQ and 1, 2, 3, and she was out as a director. And so that is, those type of moments when you prove to yourself what you're made of, when you prove to yourself that you're capable of so much more, those will help sustain you in this business. And so some of you right now, you're thinking and you're just like, gosh, I'm not sure if I can hit these sales. This is a moment for you. This is a moment for you to leave it all on the field. And you know what? If you leave it all in the field and it doesn't end up happening, you can still hold your head up high because you did everything in your power. You left no stone unturned. And so whenever, when I came to Tupperware, that was my intention. I'd already been with other direct sales companies and I was starting to feel like that flaky person that jumps from company to company to company. I was like, that's not who I wanted to be. I felt like my friends are going to be like, so what are you selling this week? And so I didn't want to be that. And I told myself when I started, I was like, I will leave no stone unturned. If I am meant to be in direct sales, it's going to happen right now. And if it doesn't happen right now, then it's not happening. Like I need to just move on. And so, so it's really important to don't shy away from those opportunities to rise to the occasion. So Rory is going to share with us a little bit, and after she's done, I have just a little bit of training as well to talk about, and I'm going to talk about. This is such a great book. This is John Maxwell. I love John Maxwell. I love his stuff. And this is the law of intentionality. Whoa, that's a big word. I'm going to totally mess that up if I have to keep saying it over and over. But it's really amazing because it kind of talks about and highlights just kind of the key points when it comes to being intentional, right? Things that kind of get in your way of being intentional. And then we're going to talk about making the transition to intentional growth. All right. And that is just like such a powerful thing. And so it talks about the gaps in there. And I like, there's so many things in here that I related to. I was like, yes, I've done that. Yes, I've had the fear of making mistakes. Yes, I find I have to figure out the best way before I can get started, right? All those things. So, but first, Rory is going to share with us some training based on John Gordon and a speaker that John Gordon brought in. So Rory, take it away.
Okay, surprise, it's John Gordon, huh? I don't know.
Her boyfriend.
It's my boyfriend. So everything that Ellen said about being in DIQ, you know, I feel very, I don't feel very knowledgeable in a lot of things, but I do feel very knowledgeable when it comes to direct sales. Having never been in it, I mean, I was in it very briefly for a year. I sold some skincare. And I still use that skincare now, and that's like 15 years already. But I didn't mind being in direct sales. You know, you guys all know you have to be your own boss. You have to be your own motivation. You have to kick yourself in the hiney to get things done. I didn't mind that part of it. But after a year, I thought I did really well. But what totally blew it right out of the water, and I just stopped doing it, was that there was no leadership. There was no nothing to imitate. Being new in direct sales, nothing to imitate. So we're very lucky here at Champion that we have someone, if it's not in our direct upline, it's someone in another person's direct upline, someone that you can connect to and duplicate. Okay, everybody's style is not the same. You know, I mean, Ellen was the one that brought me into Tupperware, and I'm very lucky because we are the same type of person. But to be a leader, everybody on this call or anyone listening to this call, you are a leader. Even if you don't feel like you are, maybe you're newer in the business, but you are a leader. And when Ellen asked me to speak a little bit, I went back. We belong to a mentoring program with John Gordon. So what he does is a couple of times a month, he goes live and he interviews different people. And he has podcasts and things like that. So today I happened upon an author. His name is John O'Leary. And he has a really inspiring story. He wrote the book. His first book was called On Fire. And he just released a book in May, and it's called In Awe. Okay, so that book is about watching children. You know how you watch children and you see how they're happy and they're smiling, and when you ask them a question, they want to raise their hands. You know, he based that on when we become adults, we kind of lose that. As he puts it, you know, sometimes we just yawn our way through life. You know. And that all goes back to the get tos instead of have tos. You know, you get to get up every morning. You get to go to work. You get to do this business that hopefully you love. Most of the time you love. You don't have to. You know, you don't have to do anything. So it's kind of based on that. So John O'Leary's story is when he was 9 years old, he was in a house fire that I believe he accidentally started himself. And he was burned 100% of his body in third-degree burns. And as a result of that, they had to amputate his hands from his, you could sort of see it on his face. He's had many surgeries, but from his neck down, he has no natural skin. So no natural skin color. So this is a 9-year-old boy who was almost ready, you know, not to make it. And when he said that he was in the hospital room, the only thing that he could think about was his dad coming in and being really mad at him because he almost burned the house down. And, oh my God, my dad is going to kill me when he finds out that I almost burned the house down. So he said one of the defining moments in his life is his father came in and just said, you know what, I love you. And I am so proud of you. You know, you managed to save yourself and all of this. So, you know, he turns that into, you know, in your life, you have defining moments. And, you know, if you show grace to other people, if you show grace to yourself, you know, you can get through anything. So, and he now plays the piano. His mother made him learn how to play the piano. So I think you can go on his website, and he has videos, and he plays the piano very well. He's like in his late 30s now. But so he was talking about the pandemic and how you adjust, how being a leader, how big your influence is, and how this pandemic or this season of doubt and fear and negativity. We all see negativity every single day. When life blows up, what matters comes to light. So we've all had the opportunity to slow it down, right? And spend time with our families. And you just have to have a bigger perspective. It's all in your perspective. And I think that goes with anything. It goes with your business. It goes with your relationships. It goes with just life in general. Okay. You talked to us, as directors 3 months ago, or maybe now almost 4 months ago. A lot of us had never done any virtual parties whatsoever. We were just like, what? We got to do what? And we adapted. You have to change and you have to adapt. And I think we've all done that. Everybody in the DIQ program and the directors that are on, we've all done that really well. But when you're going through hard times, especially DIQ, because that's what we're focused on, it's not an easy thing. Anybody that says it's easy is lying, okay? There's a lot of pressure, but I firmly believe that what is happening to you in DIQ, whatever it may be, it's teaching you how to overcome what's to come. You don't even know what's to come, okay? It's not bad, so don't get scared. But I know Jenny's smiling. Jenny, if Jenny could tell her story.
I'm thinking I must be a slow learner.
No, Jenny has proven time and time again what it takes to fight back. And, she's had some things happen in her life. I'm not going to tell her story. It's not my story to tell. But, she too has overcome. I haven't overcome half of what Jenny has. But, you're in DIQ, you think everything's going well. Bam, I fell out. And I'm like, I gotta find a whole new team. And you've heard Pam say it. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. And it always falls back on you. If you want to do this, you have to be the best seller on your team. You have to be the best recruiter on your team. You have to be the best cheerleader on your team. Okay. So this is what John's talking about. Okay. So when things are going bad, you can give yourself grace and permission to be upset or frustrated, but don't live there. Don't pitch a tent there. You can stay for a fleeting minute and then realize that you've got to get up and get after life again. Okay. Your vision for your team, in a leadership role, your vision for yourself, for your business, for your life, your vision for tomorrow needs to be bigger and grander than where you are today. It has to be bigger. You have to have a vision. You have to have clarity. And sometimes it doesn't come all at once, but you have to know where you're going. Are you going to get in the car and start driving, not knowing where you're going? You're just going to drive in circles, which we've all done more than once. We put many miles on the car just driving because you have no idea where you're going. Okay. You need to be mission and vision focused in a crisis. You can say that the pandemic's a crisis. Maybe it is for you. Everybody's dealing it in their own ways. Maybe there's parts of your team that you feel are in crisis, that aren't performing the way you'd like them to go. Everybody has a plan in their head on how they think it's going to go. It doesn't always go that way. But if you have that focus and that determination, it will come to light somehow. All right. Somehow, maybe not how you vision it, but it will come to light. Be generous in your thinking and in your actions, no matter what is happening with your team members. We're not always happy with our team members. Although I'm always happy with my team members because I see 2 of my team members on right now. I'm always happy with my team members, but there might be 1 or 2 of you that aren't, but you just have to show them grace. Look at Melissa. She just popped her head in. Right on cue, Melissa. So, you can use this season of the pandemic to make it about something bigger than yourself. Teach yourself something. It's an opportunity. Teach yourself, I don't know, how to play the guitar, how to learn Spanish. If you've never done it business-wise, if you're not good at live demos, do a live demo. If you're not really good at virtual parties, start doing them. We've got great copy and paste. Teach your team how to do that. Okay. What else? The beauty of what's happening with the pandemic, it slows us all down. Like I was saying, you can slow down, you can spend more time, because what I liked what he said, when you're in this business, you're running a marathon, right? You're running a marathon. You're not running a sprint. And he said that it's not always true that the speed and pace that we run will determine how far we will go, right? That's not anything. It's not like, okay, I got to get in and out of this DIQ program in 2 months or I totally stink. No, it's kind of like the what is it? The tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race. You have to steadily build. You have to build your people. It starts with the relationship that you have with your people. And you guys all have relationships with your people or you wouldn't be where you're at, right? You can't build a team and you can't be successful unless you have people who are doing it all together and you have one vision and one focus. I think we've done a really good job of pivoting in the storm. He talked about being able to pivot instead of sinking. So when all of this pandemic started, I think as champions, we did a great job of pivoting. We didn't throw in the towel. We didn't jump overboard. We just said, okay, this is what we have to do. And you're going to make a turn. Okay. So that's what you have to do in your business. If something's not working, then try something else. Okay. There's always something else that will work, something else that'll resonate with your people. And your people aren't always going to respond to the same thing all the time. You get new people all the time and it's a fluid situation. As leaders, we have the ability to profoundly affect the lives of others, one life helping another. Okay. And it starts with us and we have to feed the positive, right? He has a book, Positive Dog. You have to feed yourself positivity every single day somehow. If it's a book, if it's a podcast, Jenny and Ellen, they're smiling and laughing, hopefully not laughing at me, but they know it's true. You have to feed yourself positivity every single day, because if you're not positive, then how can you help your team be positive? All right. People believe what they're fed. The news, the Facebook, if you feed it to them, they're going to take it. And you know what, people, and I don't know who said it, but people want to be led. They want to follow something. They want to be a part of something bigger. And a lot of times that's why they join a team. Might not be for the money. It might be for just being part of something bigger. I had a talk with someone on my team earlier, and we were talking about, oh, well, I don't really like my team to know like what we still need or where we're going to go. And it's like, if you don't let your team know where you're going, they're not going to invest in it. They're not going to be like, okay, we can do this. We need this. So be open to leading them. They want to be led. And I know that sounds terrible. That sounds like you're putting them on a leash and you're leading them around. But no, they want to be a part of something. Okay. Let's see. Oh, he said that all relationships, when you're a leader, they're poured from love. And I think basically we do love all of our team members at some level, most of the time. Okay. Because when you build a relationship with them and they know that you care about them, they can maybe be a little bit more coachable. They can be a little bit more receptive to what it is you have to say. Okay. I tell my team all the time that I believe in them. I believe in each and every one of them. And if you don't believe it yet in yourself, then I will believe it for you until you do believe, because everybody doesn't have that ability to see the bigger picture. And he said, you have to cast a vision for them that they don't yet see. to get through the tough times. So that's a strategy. You know, cast the vision for them. You see people on your team all the time that really could use that bump up in life. And no matter what they do, they just can't get there. So, you know, give them that extra attention, give them that push, you know, cast that vision for them that you know that they can do, but they just don't believe it, because that's half of what will help you achieve. You know, if you believe it, you can achieve it. Let's see. Okay, he was talking about if you're ever down in the dumps and you're thinking, I can't do anything right, you know, look in the mirror. And he said, by pure mathematics, if you think about it, for your mom and for your dad to have come together to put you on this earth is like 1 in 400 trillion, right? Anybody to be put in this position in life that we have, and all the great things that we can accomplish here, it's truly a miracle. So, you know, stop yawning your way through life. And now's a perfect time to just stop and think about what's important. You know, what's the bigger picture for your team and where you want to lead them. All right. He said that one of the strategies that he does is he wakes up before his entire family, and I don't know where he lives, but wherever he lives, he can sit on his front porch and he watches the sunrise every single day. So he leaves his phone plugged in. He doesn't turn his phone on. He has a journal, and he'll journal, and he'll listen to the birds. But that is his one thing that he knows that kind of centers him. So if it's getting away from social media, if it's shutting off the news, you know, you have to feed yourself what, you know, nourishes you. All right. He said that a good thing is writing love letters to old teachers. If the old teacher, you know, someone that believed in you in elementary school, you know, taught you how to read. You know, I think of one teacher that taught me in first grade how to read. I don't know how, I guess I could try to find her. But if that someone back in your past like that isn't around anymore, then reach out to the kids of that person, because they would love to hear what an impact their parents made. You know, or if there's someone in life now, maybe someone in Champion, you know, write a love letter and let them know how much it's meant to you that they believe in you. And we do that. It just made me think of that. We did that when we went to DSS. When you become a director, you go to new director success classes in Florida. And one of the last things we did was write love letters. And we wrote love letters to someone in the business and then someone in our lives. So I thought that was a really great thing. And be vulnerable. You know, we all don't have to be like, yeah, I'm killing it, I'm doing this, and my team's #1, and we're selling the hell out of those bowls and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Be vulnerable, you know, because some of us are just tripping right through life. And, you know, like when we were talking before, water bottles, one person sold a bazillion. And then someone else is like, I sold 2. Okay. Yeah. All right. I sold 4. Honestly, 4 water bottles I sold personally. So be vulnerable. It's not a show. It's not, you know, nobody's looking to, what did Ellen say? What was that? I think that was last week. Be a contender, not a pretender. And that's kind of, you know, what I took away from that. So, you know, what you can take away from the pandemic that we're in, first of all, you survive, which we've all done. You advance, you improve, you adapt, you innovate, and you thrive. And we've all done that. I think all of us in this last 4 months have just risen to the occasion. I mean, all of you ladies in DIQ have just like killed it since March or April, or you wouldn't be here. So we've done all of that. So keep doing that same thing. Let me see. I think, the one thing, and I can honestly say I don't know if I've ever watched this movie in its entirety, but what he bases, John O'Leary bases his whole philosophy on is the movie Groundhog Day. Okay. Now I need to go back and watch.
You really never watched that movie?
Well, I think I have, like, Dwayne loves it. He knows all the lines and stuff like that, but I'm going to watch it with a different perspective, right? I think Bill Murray or Phil Connor, I think his name's Phil Connor, Connors, he goes through life. I think he's yawning his way through life, right? He does the same things every day. He sees the same groundhog pop up, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, Ellen, because I think she knows it, and then probably Jenny does too. And then he realizes that there's more to it. He changes it, and then he learns everybody's name in the town. He just realized what was important. So he pivoted in his, I guess he was a golf caddy. I don't know. I sound really stupid about groundhog.
No, he was a newscaster.
Oh, he was a newscaster. I thought he was a golf caddy.
You're mixing up Caddyshack and...
Oh, yeah.
Groundhogs and gophers are not the same animal.
I think Dwayne is outside. He would kill me.
He'd be like, "What's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? What are you talking about, woman?" All right. Go and watch Groundhog Day. Okay? And just
you putting that on your list to do?
I might watch it later.
Dwayne's in the living room pulling it up on Netflix as we speak.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, that was the bulk of it. But it's just, you know what? You just have to keep moving. And we are in a perfect position with this pandemic. Believe it or not, I mean, if you think about what has come out of it, that's a blessing. Think about those things, because I can think of many, many things that have been a blessing. I mean, aside from, the terrible sickness and everything that's going through. So, but yeah, if you want to read John O'Leary's book, you can just go to, like his publicist, readinawe.com. So, I don't know. I just love to listen to different people with different perspectives on something that you would never think has anything to do with you, but a lot of it really, really does. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lori. I love that. One of the things that she said that really stuck out with me, because I remember hearing it when I was in DIQ and in my first couple years in the business. And she said, you have to be the best dater on your team. You have to be the best recruiter. You have to be the best, right? And that used to freak me out, because I was like, I'm not sure if I'm the best, right? But one of the things that is important to realize with that is that when you are the go-to person, whether or not you're the best, when you are the go-to person that people are turning to for advice around recruiting, dating, the business, whatnot, it is so important for you to fill your cup, because you're going to be doing as a leader, and think about it, as a leader, as a mom, as a wife, as all those things that we're constantly pouring out into other people. And so that's going to continue to happen. So it's so important for you to have, some good self-care and self-love. But the other thing that's really important is for you to fill your cup, to be able to pour into yourself. Like, so tonight when I was like, gosh, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? And I went to my bookshelf, and James is like, hi, Mom, what are you doing? And I have the bookshelf in the other room. And I was like, I'm looking for something like I haven't looked at in a while. And so I just have a whole shelf full of like business books and things like that. And this was already kind of like highlighted. I'm a highlighter. And so it's like already highlighted and stuff. And I was like, ooh, this is good stuff. I'm like, we'll talk about this. All right. So this won't take long. But I like these bullet points talking about the law of intentionality. So it talks about, one is the assumption gap. All right. It talks about the different gaps there are in your intentionality, and the law of assumption gaps assumes that you'll automatically grow, because when we're children, our bodies automatically grow. We kind of like almost can't stop them, right? They just grow. And many people carry that into adulthood in a subconscious belief that mental, spiritual, emotional growth follow a similar pattern. And as time goes by, we simply get better. But we don't, right? I think we all know that, right? So the problem is we don't improve just by simply living. And so this is a great quote, and it's actually by Bruce Springsteen, which I'm like, okay, I never thought of him as somebody that you quotable other than like Born in the USA, right? So anyway, so it says, a time comes when you need to stop waiting for the man you want to become and start being the man you want to be, right? And so in that quote, think about that. You stop waiting to like just transform into this great mom, human being, neighbor, friend, whatever. And you have to just own that. And if you want to be great in those areas in your life, you have to initiate that. You have to do that. All right, so the second one is the knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. So many people learn only from the school of hard knocks, right? Difficult experiences teach them lessons the hard way, and they change sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. So the lessons are random and difficult. It's much better to plan your growth intentionally. You decide where you need or want to grow, and you choose what you'll learn. And you'll follow through with discipline, going at the pace you set. All right, that in itself is really important because sometimes we kind of stumble through life and we make mistakes, learn from the mistakes, and sometimes we get better, sometimes we get worse, it just depends. But if you're actually intentionally setting out to grow, then you already are kind of like ready for that mistake when it happens. You kind of are easier to pivot, you kind of have more options in those moments. All right, so number 3 is the timing gap. It's not the right time to begin, right? So I'm sure since you are developing managers, you have managers that are like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't be a manager because I don't really know what I'm doing. And maybe you said this as well, right? Because I think all of us at some point were like, how can I lead somebody when I don't know what I'm doing? It's just sort of a natural reaction. All right, so think about this, okay? And we've all heard this before. 5 frogs sitting on a log, 4 decide to jump. How many are left, right? And it says there are 5. Why? Because there's a difference between deciding and doing, right? It's so important to recognize that. And so another quote is what great accomplishments we'd have in the world if everybody had done what they intended to do. And right now, you're intentionally working your business. You're intentionally taking strides towards director. The law of diminishing intent says the longer you wait to do something you should do now, the greater the odds are that you will never actually do it. All right. Okay. So the next one is number 4 is the mistake gap, right? Everybody's afraid of making mistakes. And so, it's that saying, and I know we've all heard it say, what would you attempt if you knew you couldn't fail, right? And so those words encourage people to try things that they believe are beyond their capabilities. And so right now you might think being a director is beyond your capabilities, but you don't know. You don't have the answer to that. You have to have the experience of that. And so if you want to grow, you need to get over your fear that you may be making mistakes. A mistake is simply another way of doing things, all right? To become intentional about growing, expect to make mistakes every day and welcome them as a sign that you're moving in the right direction, right? All right, so number 5 is the perfection gap, right? I have to find the best way before I start, right? A lot of people have that in their day-to-day even. They're just like, well, I don't know if I'd be good at that, so I'm not going to do it because I might be bad. Right? And so, so when you go looking for the best way, you have to look at it backwards. If you get started, you have to get started if you want to find the best way. It's similar to driving to an unfamiliar road at night. Ideally, you'd like to be able to see your whole route before you begin, but you see it progressively, right? As you move forward, a little bit more road is revealed to you. If you want to see more, then you have to get going in that direction. And that's exactly what you're doing right now. All right, so number 6 is the inspiration gap. All right, it says, I don't feel like doing it, right? It's oh, Deborah's phone's about to die. That's all right. So it says, I don't feel like doing it. And so this came from like a medical journal, and it was talking about, people that can't get themselves motivated to lose weight, get better at monitoring their numbers and doing things like that, things that they need to do for their health. Well, we have news for you. Motivation is not going to strike you like lightning. And motivation is not something that someone else, a nurse, a doctor, a family member, can bestow or force on you. The whole idea of motivation is a trap. Forget motivation and just do it. Exercise, lose weight, test your blood sugar, or whatever. Do it without motivation, and guess what? After you start doing the thing, that's when the motivation comes and makes it easier for you to keep doing it. Motivation is like love and happiness. It's a byproduct. When you're actively engaging in something, it sneaks up and zaps you when you least expect it. There's a quote that says, you're more likely to act yourself into feeling that than your, okay, hold on.
You got me.
Jenny's laughing because we have book club and I fumble through the words all the time and I make her read. But she doesn't have this book, so I have to read. All right, so you're more likely to act yourself into feeling than feel yourself into action. All right, so you have to, take that action in order to have that feeling of, I want to do this. All right, so whatever it is, you should do it. All right. So the seventh one is the comparison gap. Other people are better than I am. This is a really important one. All right. The first 10 years I was intentionally pursuing personal growth. I was always behind trying to catch up. And I had to get over that comparison gap. I had to learn to become comfortable with being out of my comfort zone. It was a difficult transition, but it was well worth it. And you think about this, if you're comparing yourself as a new director, which you soon will be, as a new director, if you're comparing yourself to directors that have been directors for years and years, you're going to be disappointed. You're just going to be disappointed. And so it's you against you. I mean, that is truly where you will find happiness in this business. If you are consistently trying to better your best, that is where that happiness lies. All right, and number 8 is the expectation gap. I thought it would be easier than this. I don't know any successful person who thinks growth comes quickly and climbing to the top is easy. It just doesn't happen. People create their own luck. How? Here's the formula. Preparation, which is growth, plus attitude, plus opportunity, plus action, doing something about it, equals luck, right? And we've all heard Pam's training of how do you spell luck? W-O-R-K, right? You work. That's how you get. The harder you work, the luckier you get, right? And so if you want to reach your goals and fulfill your potential, become intentional about personal growth. It will change your life. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. That's a quote by Jim Rome. I like his stuff too. All right, so a couple key steps to making the transition to intentional growth. One is ask the big question now. Right? And so the question is not, how long will this take? How long will it take before I feel like I'm successful? How long will it take for me to become a director? How long will it take to me to reach these goals, right? Don't ask yourself, how long will it take? Ask yourself how far you can go. That is such a more powerful question. Not how long will it take before I'm a $500,000 organization. Not how long will it take before I'm $1 million. How long will it take before I make 5-figure paychecks? Ask yourself, how far can I go? And that really takes you to action. So to whomever much is given, much shall be required. Give growing your best so you can become your best. So it's so important to grow through that process, right? So that you can become your best. All right, so the number 2, making that transition to intentional growth is to do it now. Later, the word later, is one of those dream killers, one of the countless obstacles we put up to derail our chances of success. All right, so number 3 is face the fear factor. Which emotion will I allow to be stronger? Your answer is so important because the stronger emotion wins, right? And so I want you to encourage to feed your faith and starve your fear. It's so important when you find yourself saying, I'm scared, I'm worried, I'm nervous, I'm stressed, right? It's so important for you to change that to excitement, right? I want you all to think about the amount of people that wish they were in the DIQ program. How exciting for you to be here. The amount of people that wish that they could, that they can step up to director, but they're not, right? That's exciting. You are taking that action. You are helping grow other people and helping other people reach their dreams. That's exciting. And yes, it can be stressful. And yes, it can freak you out, right? It can totally do all those things. But let the stronger emotion win and let that be excitement, right? It's exciting. We will help you and we will pull you and talk you through all of the rest of those fears. But make sure that when you're talking to yourself and you say, gosh, I'm so stressed out, and be like, but it's really exciting right now, you know? And that's what I had to do. When we started growing like crazy, it freaked me out. I have been praying and working towards this growth for years, and I thought I was ready. And then when it started happening, it freaked me out, like, and I have no idea why, but it did. And I found myself going, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed, I'm so stressed, I'm so stressed. And then I was like, but this is really exciting. Like, this is everything I've been working for, and it's all happening right now. And it was just like, I had to, like, oh, it's so exciting. Yes, it's stressful, but it's super exciting. And that excitement is far stronger and exciting than the stress and the fear. All right, so number 4 is change from accidental to intentional growth. All right, a couple examples. So accidental growth is plans to start tomorrow, right? Waiting for growth to come. You know, quit early and often. Talk big, have a big talk, but you're not backing it up with action, right? Intentional growth is insisting on starting today. It's relying on hard work. It's persevering through the long and the hard, you know, and taking risks. So those are just a couple examples. Eleanor Roosevelt said, one's philosophy is not best expressed in words. It is expressed in the choices one makes. In the long run, we shape our lives and we shape ourselves. That is intentional action. You are in charge of who you are and the leader that you are becoming. You must go out of your way to seize growth opportunities as your future depends on it. Why? Because it does. It does depend on it. Growth doesn't just happen. Not for me, not for you, not for anybody. You have to go for it. Okay, so the last part, sorry. All right, so the last part is applying the law of intentionality to your life. You decide of those gaps, which one causes you the biggest thing? Are you waiting to be, you know, are you assuming that you're automatically going to grow, right? Or that you don't know how to grow? Or the time isn't right to begin, right? Or you're afraid of making mistakes? Or you have to find the best way before you actually attempt it, that you don't feel like doing it, or that others are better than you, or that you thought it was going to be easier than this, right? And then let's see here. So the second one is rework your calendar and make an appointment with yourself to have self-growth. Even if it's 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, you know, just picking up a book at the end of the night and just reading a couple pages, not even a whole chapter if you don't want to. You know, it's so significant. And when you say you don't have time for that, that's probably true, but do it anyways. That's going to be the difference between you and the person that doesn't quite get to director. That's going to be the difference between you and being a strong director, being a director that is always pushing the limits and always trying to, you know, you're not talking about minimums, you're going for those higher levels of leadership, but also just of how big your team can be, how many managers you can have, things like that. And the last one is to start now. You know, put in the time today for the next 5 days, and you probably won't feel like doing it, but do it anyways. All right. So so that is the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. All right, that's a good book. That's just chapter 1. How about that? All right, so we're going to wrap this up, but be really quick before we do. Jenny has a really great tip for us on recruiting, don't you, Jenny? And so let me set the stage here. So Jenny has been working with her team for recruits, and right now they're the top team at Par Excellence. I can't speak for all of Champion, I just know Par Excellence numbers. And they have 13 team recruits, which is amazing. The next closest is 5 recruits with Lori Morris. So
this month, 13 this month or this year, Jenny?
This year. What a smarty pants. You need to just like her right out of here.
You
All
need to
right.
go watch Groundhog Day, girl.
If it'll help my recruiting on my team, I'll do it.
Jenny's the one who came up with that post that
Yeah.
is the Costco idea, the Costco comparison, right? This was Jenny's idea. And so she came up with that, but I want her to, and we've all kind of used it, but I want her to share with something that she has done and her team members have done that have kind of taken it to the next level. All right, go ahead, Jenny.
Okay, so since we started using that post, we've had 7 recruits this weekend.
Wow.
So, and I just got a text, the girl that needed 1 more recruit, she has her sales, she needed 1 more recruit to be a manager. She's putting her in right now.
Yay!
So, be a very happy camper by the time the evening's over. So now she just needs 1 more manager. But the one thing that, like, especially now with everything that's going on and people not being able to be around people and things, personal attention has become very important to people. Because before, like if you and Ashley, I know you haven't had a chance to do home parties, Melissa has, but when you were at a home party, you looked people in the face. You could tell them you liked their shirt. You could ask them whose cool car that was in the driveway. I mean, anything to start a conversation. We don't have that now. So you have to connect with them on Facebook or on the phone or something. And the one thing that I had my whole team do with that message and that we trained on the Facebook party last week was the private messages. And it seems like a small thing, but especially in the Facebook parties, the private messages I've sent, they respond. And these people don't know me. They don't know me from hill beans. But when I send the same message to everybody, so if they're at more than one party, they're going to catch on. But, you know, and it just says, thanks so much for joining Brittany's party. Please play in the games because the more people that interact, the more fun we're going to have. Contact me with any questions. And, you know, I can't wait to get to know you better. Everybody replies with a thumbs up or a thank you, or I haven't been to a Tupperware party in years. And you can tell the people that are really lonely and haven't had a lot of interaction because they reply back with a paragraph. They're like, you know, my mother has a ball and blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, awesome. And the best thing about Facebook is they cannot see the look on my face when I'm reading this. And I can take a second and reply back kindly. But the thing with any post and is like, so the Costco post we put on our Facebook pages because for some reason that's like our go-to. We see something good, we throw it out there on the business page and on the private group page. And if it's really good, I'll put it on my personal page. But the ones that we had the success with were the ones that they private text or private messaged. Because when people get on Facebook and they see something like that, and that's why they tell us so much to put something with your face in it. When they just see a meme, especially a meme that's not funny, if it doesn't have a cat or a kid, nobody's reading it, you know. And if you just put it on your Facebook page, people might kind of look at it, but mentality, and it was always mine with direct sales, was if I started reading something and realized somebody wanted me to buy something, join something, do something, I didn't finish reading it. I just kept writing. I'd scroll away, you know. But if you send somebody a private message that says to them you care about them, and right now people want you to care about them because they're home, they're going out, they're not sure they want to go out, they're not sure they want to stay home, they're tired of their kids, but they love their kids. I mean, there's just all that going on. So for you to just message them and go, hey, I was thinking about you. And like 3 of the people that I talked to, my message started out, hey, we were just talking about that Sam's Club membership you bought. You don't want to miss this one. And because I was telling them, I already know you do this stuff. So, you know, so don't tell me that's not the kind of stuff I do, because yeah, it is. That's exactly what I do. So that is just like right now it's my hill to die on, are those private messages, because people just want to feel special. They always have, but it's harder now because you're not seeing them. So, yeah.
And if I can just add, Deb jumped off because her phone died, but she told me earlier, she called me and said that she's helping a team member do a party. And she's you know, helping her post and, you know, her newer team members doing it. And they sent a personal message to this woman, thanking her for her order. She put it out on the page like we mostly all do, probably. Thank you for your order. And they send a message, you know, we really appreciate your order, supporting small business, blah, blah, blah. She came back and couldn't say enough nice things about the Tupperware party and how nice Deb and Ashley were. That she just went to a Pampered Chef party and spent over $200, and the consultant never even acknowledged her order, never said thank you, never said anything. And she said, it you know, I can't believe they did that. So the personal attention, right? It's the customer service. I firmly believe that too. Unless your message starts out with, hey girl, right? How many of those have we gotten? Like somebody at a party back in the day. I don't even know her. She sells mascara. Hey girl, do you want luscious lashes? I'm like, hell is it? Hey girl, I don't even know you. Do you
No,
know
ma'am, I'm going to go watch Groundhog Day. Thank you.
DURL. Hey girl. You know, don't do that.
So I think
URL.
so I was talking to somebody else about the Facebook parties, and she was like, I don't have any orders. Like, I've gone through this whole party and nobody has ordered anything. And I said, well, here's the thing. I think there's like no sense of urgency with Facebook parties.
Right.
You're not packing up and walking out the door, you know, so they can't, you know, they're not going to wait just a second. They don't have to hurry up and get home because they're already there. And it's very unclear. I mean, you know, we've all done it. We all do it. Party closes at 9 on Wednesday. And then Thursday you post last day to order in the party. And Friday you're looking for the meme that says, will you just give me your freaking order? So they are not, look at Lori. She's got that one going on right now. But so they're not in any hurry to order. And if you don't I private message everybody on my party and say, hey, really need to close this for Kathy by tomorrow night at 9. I realize there's a lot going on and you probably meant to order and just haven't gotten to it yet. If it's easier for you to call me, this is my number. You know, and a lot of times they're like, oh my God, I completely forgot, or I meant to do it yesterday. I had one lady that had left her order in the cart on my site. She just forgot to click submit. She goes, I did submit. I said, no, I don't think you did. So she went back on. She goes, oh my God, I'm so flighty sometimes. I was just sitting there. And I'm like, well.
You know what? That's the nail on the head. There is no sense of urgency. You're absolutely right. Because, you know, but that's the learning curve too, right? I didn't do a virtual party in 5 years in business. It was all in home. And
see, I had loved them, but they weren't a big thing. So yeah, we didn't do them a ton. So I did them a lot when Michael was in the hospital. That was all I could do. And I did really well. Well, then whenever he got out, there wasn't, you know, then it was like, well, you need to go do home parties. And Ashley, little known secret, Melissa, I hate home parties with a passion.
But not anymore though. I bet you would love them now.
Lori loves home parties with a passion. Like,
I love home parties.
So everybody
when
is different.
all of this started and all of a sudden Facebook became the norm, I was like, yes. Because and I didn't have to feel guilty anymore because I didn't want to do them.
And I was the exact opposite. I was like, oh my God, what? I can't understand.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I was freaking out. Yeah.
So
awesome. Well, I'm going to try that. I'm doing that right now with a new party that I just opened yesterday. There's like 17 people in it. They joined today. I'm going to private message them tonight.
Message them all and just say, so glad you're here. And
hey girl.
Hey girl. Do you want a nice clean bowl?
Hey girl, I got a bowl for you.
You guys are going to remember every time you're going to type a message, you're going to come.
Hey girl.
Mine is, hey girl.
So, and honestly, where I got the idea from the private messaging was from Usborne Books. Because here's something else. When people invite me to parties, it used to really annoy me. Now I join them. And I join them to see what they're using, how they interact in the party. And every Usborne book party I have ever joined, you get private messages immediately and all throughout the party. Tell me the ages of the kids you're looking for books for, and I will help you find the books. And then I started noticing every one of those messages are the same. So they must get that in their little training thing that says, when you get a party, this is what you send out. When they reply to you, this is what you send out. But I noticed that even though I didn't buy a lot of books, because I don't have a lot of kids at home, thank God, I liked it that they noticed I had showed up. You know, I mean, it was
That's
like,
true.
oh, yeah, they know I'm here, as opposed to 3 days later, whenever they go, so glad to have you all with us. So you don't care. You don't, you don't know if I'm here or not.
That's funny.
I like
love
personal attention. Let's face it. Right, Ellen? Yes.
Yes, she likes a lot of personal attention. Her face, she's like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. She demands it. No.
Hey, you know.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Thank you, Lori, for your awesome training. Thanks, Jenny, for your tips. But yeah, so everybody have an awesome night and good luck over this next week. We're all here to support you, so just reach out anytime in our little chat. All right, take care.
Question, Melissa, or are you waving by?
It's the Zoom wave.
It's a Zoom wave.
It's the Zoom wave. Bye. Click the button.
Thanks, ladies. Have a good week.